It's like real, I ain't taking L's in Madden all year.
Yo. What's good, YouTube? It's Rage Real. So today's video, I want to show you guys this nice bomb play from this gun tray open formation in Madden 23. So if you enjoy this video, go and drop a like on the video right now. Go ahead and sub and turn on post notifications on. So a couple announcements. The PS4 CFL. Now there's probably only about 3 spots at this time. So if you want to join in the PS4 CFL and you will be active, go ahead and make sure you go to my website, allthingsmadden.com. The link to that is in the description. You want to go to the All Things Madden tab, go down there to the CFL. Make sure you do the free CFL, okay? This is a free one, not a paid one. It's free. And when you join, you're going to get a link to the Discord, and then you want to go ahead and go to your account, go to Discord, and you'll be into the chat, and then you'll be able to enter into the league from the chat. So if you want to join, go ahead and do that. And also, last thing, I have ebooks on the website too, and it's about 15 different formations, and they're going to be similar to this video. And the descriptions of the in the ebook, everything is written as well as video explanations. So check it out. It's really good. You can see what all I got. And if you want me to personally make something, then just let me know through there. You can request a formation for me to make, and I can do that for you. So with all that out the way, let's go on and dive into this. So gun tray open is in a lot of different formations. The one I chose in particular is the Cowboys playbook, and that's only because I had someone request me to make an ebook on this particular formation and this specific playbook. So if you want that, it's on my website right now, so go ahead and get it if you want it, if you like the way it's looking. So first and foremost, what I will say about this is that to make this scheme work, you have to have a decent tight end. You really can't have just some average guy here. It works the best when you have a pretty good tight end, because he's going to get matched up a lot. And there's a lot of plays where he can really get open is what I'm going to say. So now, other thing with personnel that matters too, just with this particular play, you want to have either your best route runner or your fastest player here. Now, in this case, if you got somebody like the Eagles, I do like Devontae Smith, but also I can show you with Quez Watkins, because he is 97 speed, and Devontae Smith is like your average receiver on the game, so that's why I'm using him. Now, the play that we're talking about here is going to be this PA read play. Now, also, the reason I'm doing this video is because what I'm showing you is on the ebook, but I got it listed as a bonus. So I actually wanted to go in detail for those of you guys that have the ebook already. You could go ahead and complement this video with the ebook. So it's just going to be a more in-depth of the bonus setups that I gave you, which is this one that I'm going over right here. So for the defense, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like versus man coverage. I'm going to show you, you know what, I'll show you man blitz as well. And then I also want to show you some match coverage. So I want to show you cover 4 quarters, and let's see how I want to do this. So I'm gonna create my own man coverage. So I'm gonna take out cover 1 whole, and I'm actually going to put let's see, what do they have in here? So we're gonna put cover 4 quarters in there already, and we're gonna put cover 6. Now what we're gonna do is come out in cover 3. So I'm gonna back the ball up, and you want to run this to where your 3 receivers are to the wide side of the field. So I'm gonna put the ball on the left hash to demonstrate that. And one thing that you need to know about this play is that it's a bomb play, okay? So if somebody's rushing, if they have just a goated defensive line, meaning that they have just all kind of pass rushes that's going crazy, or they have just really 2 good edge rushers, or just a dominant, you know, interior defensive lineman, don't try to run this, okay? You really want to run this when you see your opponents doing something, you know, like this, or they're spying the guy, or they're doing something like, even something like this, and they don't have 2 good interiors, or they're doing something, you know, like this, or, you know, maybe they're doing something like that. They're doing something like that. So what I'm saying, you only want to run this when they're rushing 3 people, okay? You don't want to try to run this when they're rushing 4, 5, 6 people at you. Now, 4 people you can get away with, like I just got done saying. You can get away with 4, but any more than 4, don't run this, okay? So you also have the option to block your running back if you need to, but for this sake of the video, I'm going to leave him not blocked. So the setup, what I like to do is actually take R1. I like to put him on a zig route. I like to take square and actually put him on a drag. And I love this setup right here. And essentially, this can actually split cover, well, not split, it could bomb cover 3 for a 1-play touchdown because of how fast he runs that route. So I threw that a tad bit too early, but realistically, that's about the time you're going to have in the game. But what I want you to notice here, I'm not going to go on replay just yet. I'm going to spy this guy. What I want you to notice is how fast he runs this route, okay? That's what's really important, because you probably saying, real, I'll never have time to throw this. And I promise you, You will, and it's only because of how fast he runs this route. And that's why I said you really want to put a speed guy there. So of course they're just not gonna block for me. That's the only thing. I'm on all Madden practice mode, by the way, so just everything just plays a little weird on here when you're on all Madden practice mode. Now, how you want to do it in the game, you don't want to just kind of sit here and then you want to step up in the pocket, and then when you step up, you don't want to kind of drift left out here. That's normally how you do it. So watch me. Actually, I didn't step up this time because he got bullied, but what I want you to see here is just how fast he runs his route, okay? So I'm going to put it at normal speed, and you can tell he actually gets there really fast, but it's just all Madden practice mode is just crazy. So what I'm going to do to simulate how you need to throw this ball is I'm going to spy those two, okay? So, but what you would need to do, you'll have more than enough time. And also, I'll go over why I like this play and everything like that. So just kind of watch how fast he runs it, and notice how we can throw him open. Now, it's not going to be a one-play touchdown versus cover 3, but what it allows you to do is have a big old chunk play, if that makes sense. And there's so many ways to dissect this this cover 3 with the ebook. So cover 3 is non-existent, but if you just need a chunk play, this is what this called for. This is not an every down play, okay? Don't get that confused. Now, the reason I like this play is because this route right here, when we run this type of route combo, he is going to be open almost every single time. And if the user is not guarded, we could throw that. And also, you could also swing this running back if you'd like, but he auto locks onto him, right? So I'm going to show you what I mean in a second. So if for some reason you don't like what you see, you always have the option to hit this drag route, okay? So you could throw that ball right there, and you could try to stick your foot in the ground. Now, also what you can do too is put them on an in route. So you can do either or. And don't worry, I'm showing you other coverage and stuff, but I'm just going over different setups for those of you guys that might like it. So with the in route, you can hit it right there in that window, and notice what happens if you put that in route. It's actually going to make the CPU glitch out a little bit, and he's going to go attack this little running back swing route right here. So kind of watch it again. That's kind of how they're programmed. So notice how if I'd held this ball half a second longer, I would have been able to throw this ball wide open right. I didn't even have to possession catch it. I just did it just to make the video go a little faster. But anyways, last thing I want to show you, and we're going to kind of zoom through this because I don't mean for this to be a long video at all. I just like to explain a lot of things to you guys so you can understand exactly what you're doing, okay? So again, you want to run this when you have time in the pocket, and notice how we're still going to be able to bomb cover 3 even with the in route. So that's another setup that I really like too. So moving forward, let's go and talk about cover 2, right? So cover 2, again, I'm only spying these guys so I can just have time in the pocket. Cover 2 is going to be the same thing. I'll show you with the in route as well, because the in route might be a tad bit better. Just because we're going to be able to really hit in the middle of the field. Now, look at circle. Watch what happens. Notice how I'm going to get a throw out of sack, but that's fine because I want to go replay really quick and just show you so you can understand what's going on here. So when you run this play versus cover 2, a lot of times they're going to be on either this vertical hook right here, or they're going to be on this vertical hook right here. So if they're on this vertical hook, they have to come back and play this in route. They have no choice, right? No matter where they play, if they play the vertical hook, if they play on the mid read, or if they play this vertical hook, they have to cover this route. If they don't cover it, we can throw that all day. Now, what happens here is that since this safety does not have nothing to do and how deep this route is ran, that's what's important, how deep this route's ran. It's ran so deep that it's going to glitch out the safety. Notice how the safety slides, and we have just an easy chunk play. Now, unfortunately, right here, where's my quarterback at? Oh. Unfortunately, right here, this happens only in practice mode where, you know, that happens. But anyways, that's not important. I just want you to see that you have more than enough time to throw that ball. And you don't, I honestly don't even have to spy anybody, to be real with you guys, with this particular. When they run cover 2, as long as they aren't pressing, meaning that they don't chuck this guy, then you'll be able to call this with just a solid base pass rush for you. Just need time. And notice, like I said, we still got the throw off, but this is all Madden practice mode, and they got whoever out there just bullying the Eagles line, which is crazy. But you get the drift. You definitely have more than enough time. So moving forward, I want to talk about man coverage. So with man coverage, how we're going to do this is I'm a baseline, and what we're going to do is talk about this style of man coverage first. So we'll actually run it. Is this right? We'll do it this way, okay? So the reason why I'm doing this, because I need you to understand, most people call it inside underneath, and I just want you to see how this works versus man, because you can actually still split the safeties. Now, for man coverage, what I would suggest you do, I would suggest you run this play stock versus man coverage, if you want me to be honest. Now, the reason why is because we're going to make a read between X, R1, and then lastly, we're going to see if we can get a good matchup with circle. Now, obviously, Jeer is going to completely bag Devontae Smith. But if you have a good matchup, that is a man-beating route. So I just need you to understand that you can use this as a man-beating play, because this route right here is actually going to be pretty good versus man, depending on who you have. And also, this in route is going to naturally beat man coverage. And lastly, this safety is going to slide because of this out route. And notice how far they make that safety slide. And just look, we have nothing but area. So if Devontae Smith is better than this, or if your receiver is better than this cornerback, it's a one-on-one is what I need you to understand. That's why we could throw that. So if this is your best player right here versus, whoever their DB is, or if this is a second best player versus their worst DB, you're just looking at matchups. That's all. You have a great matchup. So the reason I also talked about that, so if they man blitz you, now I would never suggest you run a bomb play versus a man blitz, okay? Just make sure we're on the same page. I would never suggest you try to run a bomb play on a man blitz. It just won't work. But if you just must, what I would suggest you probably do is take your tight end. I think you can motion block him. Let me see. If you can, you'd want to definitely motion block him. Nah, they didn't let you. But regardless, you could throw this ball right out the break, and that's probably your best bet. I would not call this play versus a man blitz, but if you did somehow, what you can actually do is make a couple different reads. Now, you can also read this out route if you have enough room, and you can also read this in route quick, but most of the time the user will be on this in route, okay? So a lot of times this is going to be your primary read right here versus the all-out blitz. Normally you could throw this ball right out the break. So notice how when I threw it right out the break, and you just want to let him go get it. If they happen to call a man blitz and you happen to call this play, that's all I'm talking about. I just wouldn't see man blitz or just run this play, just because it's really hard to get that tight. It's really hard to get that tight in the block. But if I'm not mistaken, we actually can motion and actually get a blocker by a receiver. So I just want to play around with it and see real quick. So I believe, I could be wrong. We'll go ahead and press here. Okay, there we go. So that's another thing you can do. As right there, they're just gonna let him scream. Oh, we still up. Ooh, can we make a play? Nah, I won't be childish. But I normally don't like motion receivers this year, just because this does happen a lot in game where they just kind of just completely dumb out. Like, notice how he just kind of just doesn't really pick up nobody, so it's not as effective this year blocking, motioning a guy to block. So that's why I don't do it too much. So I would just probably recommend don't run it versus all-out blitz. Now, last thing we'll talk about in this video is match coverage. So what we'll do is we'll talk about cover 4 quarters right here. And it's going to be pretty much the same thing. Now, when we talk about match coverage, it's going to be man on man. So basically, it's going to be this is going to be double coverage. So I really don't like this as much versus match coverage. It just depends on what you're reading, if that makes sense. So if you notice, the player that was wide open was actually our tight end. So if they call match coverage and you just need something that's going to beat match coverage, this can technically work, because what's going to happen is this player right here is the 3-rec receiver, the 3-rec DB, excuse me. So this is your 3-rec. Now, this is normally going to be your user when somebody's playing match coverage. So a lot of times what the user would do, because think about it, this spy is not going to, oh no, this is the quarter flat. So it all depends on what the user does. So sometimes the user may do this and leave this guy open thinking the quarter flat's going to help. But a lot of times, if the user's going to go chase this route right here, the best thing that you can do for yourself is actually look to make this read right here in this throw. That is literally the best, because they're going to double cover this, okay? I need you to understand that they're going to double cover that. Now, what you can do to possibly help, so let's go back to cover 4 quarters. What you can do to possibly help that is, I'm a spy, so I can have a little bit of time. If you're dead set on throwing that read, what you can do is take R1, put him on a streak, and I will stop him from being double covered. You can take square, put him on the in route. Now, again, it's going to stop him from being double covered, but he still has to win his matchup, if that makes sense. So no circle. Notice how he's not double covered, but at this point, it's pretty much just man coverage, right? So he has to win that matchup. Literally has to. So if somebody's running match coverage on you, then I do like this setup, because what's going to happen here is that a lot of times it's going to be exactly what you see, where they're going to follow this guy and leave this guy wide open, or they're going to play it correctly, and you have a matchup up here where it's one-on-one, right? And that's all we can ask for. That's all I can coach you is on one-on-ones. I can't control them, making a play, animations. I can only set you up for one-on-ones or getting somebody, open. So anyways, last thing I want to talk about is cover 6. So we'll do the same setup, because this setup is a little bit better when we're talking about match coverage right here. So R1 on the streak, X on the in route. This one's just gonna be pretty much the same thing, right? Where we're gonna have actually this one they actually played it really different because we actually had R1 for a touchdown actually. So you can actually use this one for cover 6 beater potentially. I don't want to lie to you, but we'll go back on the replay and take a look at it. But well, we'll take a look at everything, and then that's pretty much gonna wrap it up. So anyways, it's pretty much the same thing. So if the user does not guard this in match coverage, you're gonna have this route every single time. And if they do guard it, a lot of times you may have this. It all depends on who's guarding them. But right here is what we're looking at. So notice what happens right here. So our safety is actually responsible for the number 2 receiver, which is actually this guy right here. But he kind of gets distracted inside by this little angle route. Well, not angle route, by the little drag route by the number 3 receiver. Because in match coverage, the way it works is, which I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'll make a separate video on this, but he's responsible for him if he goes vertical, and he has him essentially depending on what number 3 runs. So number 3 disappeared, so he man matched this for a second, but he came back because he's a quarter, so the quarter has to worry about the running back. And in this little swap that you see, that's why we can potentially bomb cover 6. So I know that was a lot to digest. I'm sorry. I have a problem over explaining, but I'll probably make a separate video about match coverage because a lot of you guys still don't quite understand how it works. But I want to show you this right here. So we can possibly throw R1 for a touchdown if you just have to time it up right. And of course they're gonna dumb them out. But you guys seen the reads. It's wide open no matter where you want to go. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I do hope you have a blessed day. I'm Ray Jarrell, and I'm out.